Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back for another series on ESOC TV. My name is Harrison and we are back with Group B of the ESOC 1v1 Challenge Cup. This series will feature Haitch taking on Optimus Prime, or optibb as he's known in game at the moment, and Opti is spawning into the south of the map. The map is Mexico, in the colour blue, playing as the Indian civilization. Haitch spawning to the north of the map in the colour red, also playing as India, so Indian mirror to kick us off game number 1 on Mexico. Looks like that Haitch is going for an early trading post, age 1, whereas Opti has split his explorers up and going on the east side of the map, picking up 60 experience points. And also on the west side of the map, going for 60 wood, so 60 wood, 60 XP plus probably about 40 XP worth of treasure kills, versus an early age 1 trading post. But Haitch, knowing his map very well, conducting thorough map analysis, getting the first XP pass here, that is crucial. And Haitch is well on his way to getting his first shipment and a villager treasure. Oh, it's just going so perfectly well for Haitch. May lose the scouts for it, but I think he'll be absolutely fine with this trade. Picking up an explorer, picking up a villager. Big boost to eco, all the XP from the coyotes, the XP from the early trading post, and the villager able to herd back and drop a forward aggro fort for essentially for free. So really, really cool start here for H. Adnoir saying, mirror, mirror on the wall, who's the best elephant of them all? Is it this elephant's name from H, or is it going to be this elephant's name from H, or will it be either of these two from Optimus? Maybe we can get a prediction or a poll in the chat of which one of the 4 is your favourite. Meanwhile, Opti going to pick up 65 wood for 3 coyotes, and we need to remember when you pick up these treasures as well, 65 wood, as well as the 30 XP you get from killing the treasure guardians. So a really nice treasure there for Opti as well. Let's not suggest that Opti's had a poor start. He's also had a decent start. But damn, that start from H. Loving that. That's some good stuff. So H's first shipment distributors them nearly in. Oh, no, that's Opti's, pardon me. H is already in. He's already sent it. And Opti's is only just coming now, quite a bit behind, so that just shows how much XP gained from the early training post and how that first villager has really, really helped H's age 1. And you can probably see it in the food count as well. Opti at 760. H has got less food at the moment because he had to spend more time chopping wood for that age 1 trading post and then chopping the house behind, where Opti is only gone for the single house and gets the faster age up here. So forward aggro from Opti being dropped down on the right hand side of the map. H looking to position himself on the left side, protecting his trader post, and conveniently on the other side, this big ass cliff in Mexico. Who knows, we may see a bit of skirmishes in between these two cliffs, and that will be a very interesting dynamic to observe. Let's have a look at H's deck. H himself. Oh, this is Opti's deck. I'm getting confused because they're both India. H's deck looks like he's got the single crates in age 2, double shipments in the second age as well, fridge export, double cav upgrades, no rattan shields in the second age. In the third age, no Zam shipments to speak of, but double Gurkha, double Mahoots of interesting points. Whereas Optimus, he does have Zam shipments, doesn't have double Gurkha, does have Rattan shields, or Tiger Claws, pardon me, in both second and fourth age. Yes, Rattan shields is the shipment you get if you want to send natives when you're playing as China. A bit of an elephant conga line here. H trying to get his explorers out of the way from Opti's explorers. Slightly more of a defensive aggro here from H. I think he's realised that his age up's going to be a lot slower from Optimus. So that forward villager could have dropped a very nice mid-map aggro. Has decided to pull back, herd in a hunt, and drop a defensive aggro here, where H will be playing possibly the slightly more economic-focused playstyle compared to Optimus. Obs UI not used. Doesn't look like it this game. Usually the obs does come up without having to install anything. Maybe it's a separate obs set compared to which you use in different groups, but I think it's all under the same obs sets map set B from A's. So that may be something to look into between the games, but it is what it is at the moment. Another 70 food, 2 coyotes here from Optimus. Tanking the coyote shots with the forward elephant, more food and 20 experience points, but let's remember he's aged up beforehand. Training 5 sepoys from the forward aggro, does get the 5th one in queue. 2 sepoys from the town centre age up, get into the front line. 5 sepoys coming from the first shipment, so here's the classic 12 sepoy push coming from Optimus. Opti has 12 sepoys on the field, as well as full HP elephants, and Haitch has only just managed to age up at this point. This could be quite a tough timing for Haitch to hold on to. But Haitch should have a stronger shipment progression than Optimus. Was going to be sending wood first into consular export, but decided to go for 5 sepoys as his first shipment into 600 wood. Gurkha's been trained from the Agra fort. Optimus pushing it into the left-hand side of Haitch's base as Haitch have the coin available for Minutemen. I think he's just a little short for calling a single batch of minutes. 80 is that magic number. And a couple of villagers at the backside being pinned down by the elephants. One ville goes down. Second ville getting quite close. Sepoys getting picked off very quickly. Opti losing one of the elephants, but a nice southern flank here from Haitch's Gurkhas. Gurkhas countering the Sepoys from range as well as having the bonus damage. That elephant's still standing though, being really annoying on top of these Gurkhas. Stun may happen, splash damage, but the Sepoys being sent will pick off that Elephant Explorer. And the Gurkhas are still alive to dissuade any future Sepoy pressure from Optimus. What's Opti trained now? Another batch of 4 Sepoys, sent in 4 Sours in reply as well. Opti is double downing on his aggression and still wants to put the pressure onto Haitch. So 14 Sepoys out on the map for Optimus. Does have his Sours in as well. Forward villager from the shipment point, but that villager will be pulled back onto the wood line. This other villager from the 5 Sepoy shipments from the Agra has been tasked onto herding his pronghorn away from Hazard's base. But I think Opti is just sitting back a little bit, training another Sepoy there. So another batch of 3 Sepoys. Needs to throw down another house. House has been thrown down. But there's no consulate anywhere. I don't really see much of a follow-up at this point, apart from maybe sending wood crates, dropping down a stable or consulate and trying to play from that point. Bit of siege pressure now on top of the trading post of Haitch, but Haitch pushing forward with 2 batches of Gurkhas should be easily able to save his trading post. And if he loses his trading post, well, he will certainly know he's got good trades from the Gurkhas on top of the Sepoys sieging. Sours coming in from the flank, going through the middle choke point. There's enough Sepoys and elephants here to bloody block the Gurkhas. Gurkhas able to fire from behind. Gurkhas being microed onto the Sepoys from Opti. Elephants gone down for Haitch. That's more experience points for Opti, plus 90 there, so that could be another shipment for Optimus soon. Train post goes down, that's extra 80 as well. And Opti is now sending himself 700 wood as his follow-up card. So Haitch's opening play of going for the Age 1 training post has now ended. That training post has gone down. And I think at this point it'd be a good time to kind of compare ecos and what's been going on. Opti, 27 villagers. Haitch only needed 25 for the time being. Did lose 1 or 2 in his base, and Optimus may have sent an extra shipment. No, he wouldn't have sent an extra shipment. I think Haitch was just bailed up and had to spend resources on defensive units instead of training villagers at that point. Anyway, though, we have, let's go on to Haitch. We have 9 Gurkhas and 7 Sepoys with defensive sentries out in the field. Opti is going to go for a very ambitious raid topside. 3 Sours, but with only 20 hand attack. They're pretty bad at raiding villagers. Opti himself transitioning into a Gurkha playstyle at this point. sending military shipments into wood, whereas Haitch himself has sent military shipments into wood, but has also gone through foreign logging and diplomatic intrigue, it appears, at this point. So certainly made very strong use of that experience points. Love it how the UI still says 300 experience points needed for shipment number 1. Well, no. H, with his early training posts and extra XP he's sent, has managed to send multiple shipments back to back, it looks like. Pike sentries moving right side, putting pressure on the villager. The villager should be able to nuke all of these sentries and go away. Go, 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 go. Hero villager picking off 2 units for free there, but what can I say? 1 HP sentries, not really much they could do in combat. Looks like H has managed to pick up his 2 Elephant Explorers, pushing forward with his own Zambrax now, trying to find those Sours, but they're on the other side of the map. So a bit of an ambitious raid here from H. Scouting forward with the Elephants. Is he going to be able to catch a batch of Sours from the stable? Doesn't look like the Sours will pop at the right time, but the idea from H there is certainly right. He's actually brought forward the Sours from Opti's army, but he's pulling them back very quickly once he realises that there are Zams on the field. A couple Gurkhas being trained from the Agra forts, and there's the cav that H was looking for. But both players pulling back their cavalry at this point. Opti aligning himself now with the Ottoman allies, and that's a good question to check. Has H managed to send himself the villagers at this point? I want to say he has, but had lost a few villagers due to Opti's presence. But both players now training the cavalry batch from the Ottoman consulate. Aussie Drongo dropping the subscription there to ESOC. Can we get official confirmation of the avatars of the players? No, we cannot. I don't actually know, and it doesn't say in the recorded games, but I'm sure we have the S-tier carp fish for one of the players, and the D-tier settler icon for the other player. And I've got to say, I'm a D-tier player myself with the settler icon. Graduated to the B-tier wolf school, but I might go back down to C-tier, no, D-tier. Banter aside, H sending camel attack card, 30% on his Zambrax and Sours. We do have a Gardener Hussar raid down to the south, but actually he needs those very tanky cavalry units in his own base defending from Opti's push here. Opti himself having possibly a slightly larger military, but doesn't have the same Gurkha mass as what H has. H 11 Sepoys, 24 Gurkhas. Opti here, only the 18 Gurkhas, so we'll be losing the skirmisher fight. Does have more Sepoys though, and actually with the presence of the Sours and the Bostanchi Royal Guard cavalry from the Ottoman consulate, could try and slam in and force the issue and get close with his Sepoys to get the damage in. He's now pulled the trigger, but H has managed to re-pull his Royal Guard cavalry back to snare Opti's own army, and the Zam line from H is able to rip through these very low HP Sours, and actually a couple of Sours from H snaring Opti's infantry mass as well. The Gurkhas are still relatively unchallenged. Infantry here are trying their best to pick off H's Hussars there from the consulate, and I think H is in a good position from that fight. 28 Gurkhas now on the field versus Optimus is 14. I don't believe there was much raiding action behind the scenes, so both players playing relatively heads up here. And Opti's on the run. He's on the run at this point. Total population is relatively the same. We need to remember, H has already sent Camel Attack, now sending Desert Terror. And going Gurkha Zam, these Zambraks will melt any cavalry units that Opti will produce. And Opti is still making cavalry units his own now, going into his own Zambraks, but with no cards, they are relatively pitiful against what H is mustering. Nice aggro fort there. Herds in Optimus's hunt for him. What a pro play that was. That's just the splash damage of the area effect, missing the elephant and hitting the area close to it, damaging both the elephant and the hunt. But Gurkha's prodding away at Optimus's mass. Minutemen called from the Ottoman consulate, really nice position in there. And actually, the Gurkhas are pathing right in front of the Sours. Zams went top side of the aggro fort, and they were moving before opening fire. So these Sours have actually got some decent picks, and that's went really well for Optimus. I was kind of expecting the slow dismantlement of Optimus's army at this point, but Opti with a great pop of Minutemen on top of the moving Gurkhas and Zams out of position there. Really good pickup and a bit of circle sieging, but Haitch has decided he can't risk another engagement like that and needs to pull back. Single Gurkha was going to be trained there from Optimus, but has decided to cancel it. Looks like the Opti has got the resources to age up to the 3rd age and be dropping a Charmanar Gate as his age up wonder. Could cancel the 700 coin, but it's not the worst shipment to send. That will certainly fund his units in the 3rd age and provide the coin required for the upgrades as well. Haitch swinging his army round to the left-hand side of the map. A couple Sours leading the charge, but Zambrak's close behind. We'll find a bunch of villagers. No Eastern medicine, no British consulate support as well. And these Zams, they're not the greatest versus villagers, but with no HP upgrade, 3 have gone down and likely a 4th. And that's a really nice pickup there for Haitch, and that will certainly keep him in a very strong position in the economic side. Looks like Haitch is going all in age 2 actually. No banking of resources to go to the 3rd age. Entering in relationship with the Ottoman consulate, likely to transition himself to the British consulate for the extra HP. Still massing double Gurkha here from the aggro fort, single racks. Yeah, he's got single racks here and 1 stable from the Indian player. But remember, these Sours are double carded. The Zamraks are double carded. He has 31 Gurkhas, so it's certainly a large mass here from Optimus. Opti's aging up. He's going to age up with the Mahout Lancer, remember. So a very strong tanky cavalry elephant style unit, but versus double carded Zambraks, 19 times by 4. That Mahout's going to fall over very, very quickly, and we'll have to see how this plays out. Looks like Opti desperately needs a Yurumi shipment if he wants to defeat this army. And he's actually going to go for the early engagement here, but I'm not really too sure this is in Opti's favour. Upgrades still coming in. Sending his first shipment soon to be, but H is already closing him down. Sours leading the charge. Sours on top of the Gurkhas. Zam's having to focus down the Sours. They are falling, but it's the Zambraks picking off the Mahout Lancer very, very quickly. This unit, which is very great for snaring Gurkhas and tanking a lot of skirmisher fire, has already gone down. Villager's defensive pull being here from Optimus. He knows he needs to survive this fight. This is crucial. First shipment from Optimus is the 9 Zambraks. Is it 9 Zambraks or just the 8? It's 9 Zambraks. But these are colonial Zams, so no upgrades. So we've got 15 times by 3.5 versus heavy, versus 19 from H, and the British consulates provide an extra HP here. Yeah, no, 9 Zams is not what you need. He's now gone to Yurumi, the correct shipment, but the army's gone at this point. And that's just a great timing there from H, it looks like. And yeah, the game is finished, and H has been cleaning up Opti in his base after Optimus went for the 3rd age play there. So yeah, game 1 going to H. Let's see if I get the right player. Oh, I think that's right. Yep, H is 1-0. I was almost about to give him a -1 score. That would have gone down pretty poorly with H. So I want to see this villager count from H. So slightly ahead in age 1 due to maybe a bit of housing idle time from Opti. I don't know how he managed to get slightly ahead, and this double shipment here was the... Okay, no, so it looks like this second villager here came in from the earlier shipment of distributism, and then this other villager came from the treasure, so Hazard's up by 1 villager and had this extra villager lead for a bit of time before. A bit of idle when he threw down his Wander to age up before having to chop more wood to get the production going. But once the pressure came in, a bit of idle, losing a couple of villagers, and only managing to regain that lead later with the Ottoman consulate villagers. Opti also sent the villagers later on, and the ecos were relatively the same, but Hazard did manage to get the foreign loggins squeezed in there at some point. Military population, yeah, Optimus's early aggression, military lead. Pretty strong time in there, but just didn't feel that he could get quite enough done. Haitch going into defensive Gurkhas instead of defensive Sepoys was a very smart decision there from Haitch, and managed to keep those Sepoys at a safe distance. Opti didn't feel like he wanted to commit once about 10 Gurkhas were out in the field, and then yeah, some really good fights. This was the fight with the Minutemen underneath Opti's Agrifort, where Haitch certainly lost quite a few. No, it's this one here. As you see the Minutemen pop, and Haitch's army falls off a little bit, but Haitch been very smart, knowing when to back away from a losing position, and just massed. Opti thought he had time to age up to the third age, got to the third age, but Haitch with the timing push before the shipment started to roll in and the upgrades cleaned up Optimus, and that there it is, enough for the victory in game 1. Right, let's go into game number 2 between these two players. Right, we're in game number 2, and Optimus's view lock has gone crazy. Wish they turned that off to start each recorded game. That'd be very useful for me. So Optimus spawning into the right-hand side of the map. The map is Baja California. Optimus Prime is playing as the Aztecs in the colour blue. This is a counter pick to Haitch, picking the Japanese first on this map in the colour red. Very interesting map to play the Japanese on, only spawning with 2 berry bushes and the orchard ritual. Japan isn't the greatest water boom sieve as well. It is quite a wide map, so shrines can go out on the map as well. But wasn't expecting this from Haitch, to be honest, I have to say. Very nice demonstration of the Aztec and their Eagle Scout working together, picking up treasures. The Aztec uses special attack and then inspiration ability to inspire the Eagle Scout to do more damage versus the Treasure Guardians. And that was the first treasure, 60 wood. And now XP coming quickly behind, and that should be enough for Optimus to get his first shipment. I heard a noise, and that was a dock. So Opti going for Water Boomers Aztec. Seems like all the native civs at the moment are going for water play on water maps Age of 1. Let's look at Hazard. Is he going for in-base consulate? No, he's not. He's going for the Torii Gate build, looks like. 3 shrines already built down. Not trying to protect an in-base hunt for a Toshoga shrine, so I'm expecting to see a Torii Gate being thrown down somewhere. Open up with 3 fishing boats. We saw this matchup in the previous series, Kinnessy versus Lucas. Kinnessy picking Japan on Fertile Crescent, and Lucas countering with the Aztecs. And in that game, we saw the power of the age-up samurai from the Torii Gates tearing down Lucas's forward base. Will we see the same antics again? Not too sure. Opti's playing is slightly more eco-focused with the dock and boat play to the north. But also, this is a pretty good map for Japan in the sense that he can send those fishing boats as well, so that quite a lot of his eco is working on the water. And even if he's idled in his base from the Aztec pressure and aggression, well, that's eco for Japan is still working and churning over. 30% HP on his Explorer, though, is very nice for Optimus. That's going to be a very tanky unit in the second age. Castet's saying he thinks that Optimus spins the strats roulette before every game. Optimus's player style is lick your finger, put it in the air, what is the flavour of the month, and pull that strategy out. Or maybe do the reverse and actually catch his opponents off guard, and that's why a lot of players say that Optimus is very strong at ladder games. Obviously, ladder games is the way to qualify, and this is some awkward pathing and villager macro control in Age 1. Very, very important why we keep our hunts right underneath our town centre so that animals dying over around here can just be safely gathered. But now, next to a tree, a mine, a house, a bit of villager bumping, and that would actually slow his age up down by about 5, 6, okay, maybe about 3 or 4 seconds, but that's certainly worth 20, 30 food of lost gathering time there. That's certainly not insignificant. Age up here from Haitch. Quite a fast age up, to be fair. Tory Gate's been thrown down. Orchard, Rickshaw placed right behind the town centre. Probably the most safest place he could have positioned that. Really smart for Haitch as well to gather from his forward cherries first, and forward berry bushes as a priority. Well, mainly because he was gathering from those while the Orchard Rickshaw was scouting around, but actually, now that you've got a safe 5k behind your town centre, you want to try and get the most value out of the front berry bushes before they get zoned off by opposing Aztec Mace Sultans, for example. But I'm wanting to see what Optimus's plan is. Is he going to try and go for a mid-map war hut? Or is he going to try and go for somewhat of an in-base war hut, play defensive, warrior priest boom, fish boom, and try and go for the 3rd age, and possibly 4th age, more of like an eco play versus Japan instead of the classical mid-map war hut, full aggression, and put the pressure on Japan. So Opti has aged up. First shipment here, 5 villagers, and no villagers mid-map for that war hut. Opti has scouted though the Tory Gates, so he knows what's up. He knows not to go mid-map at this point. And at the moment, it's chilling at home with the Warrior Priest, War Chief, and Eagle Scout. No Community Plaza thrown down just yet from Optimus Prime. So this Warrior Priest is missing out on a lot of XP generating potential. Maybe Optimus can drop down a Community Plaza right now while maintaining fishing boat production from his dock. Aussie Drongo's suggesting that he dislikes Optimus's position of going 5 villagers first versus Japan Tory Gates, but actually, I feel that if Japan's going Tory Gates here and Optimus is going 5 vills as well as water play, he may be able to keep up in economic output compared to Japan. But yes, if H was going for Kami into Sugar Shrine, maybe 5 villagers from Opti would be too greedy. And here come the 2 Funes. 2 Funes from Japan. Going to be chucked in the top side of the pond. 1 canoe coming out from Aztec. I don't really think that's going to be enough. There's the 2nd from Opti. Still, that won't be enough to deal with the Funes. Could try and pray that one of the Funes don't spawn, but I think that issue doesn't happen as often in DE as it does in other maps. Has Hazard just cancelled it? Or is he going for it still? Oh, Optimus is dropping a dock on the south side as well. Okay, flag's still going north. H really wants to put pressure on Optimus' first dock. There's a 2nd dock going down to the South Sea, but only one Fuse spawn! Oh, it's still here! Oh my god! Oh, don't you just love to see it? Send 2 boats and only 1 plops out onto the water. Low indeed, H. But you had your monk here, you had your samurai, could stand on the edge, get line of sight. It's a known phenomenon. The amount of games you've played in New England, Dhaka. There's a dock here and there's canoes blocking the spot. Oh my god, that is fun to see, but probably frustrating to see if you're H. I'm sure Opti's chuckling to himself right now as well, knowing that he's quite happy to continue with his fish boom, where H's attempted counter water play has backfired spectacularly. You see, he's even trying to run away because this Fune is embarrassed to see the other Fune not spawn. Alright, meanwhile, H dropping 2 training posts. Is he going to go for TP play? I don't think he's going to try and go for Stagecoach just yet. Hasn't quite got the wood and food needed, but will have another food for a third trading post. And once that third TP secured, and you've secured all 3 slots, and Stagecoach is certainly a great play. And I think he's saying, right, Opti, if you're going to go for full water play here, even moving on down to the South Sea, there you go, have it. I'm going to take land eco of the 3 TP Stagecoach as well as Shrine Boom. You aged up with the Torii Gates and probably didn't send Cammy first card, still there to be sent, but Shrine Eco is still a significant part of the eco. Can't just forget that that part exists. A couple of Ashies moving forward, Coyotes moving to snare the Ashies, keep them interested while the Mace Sultan... since when has that been changed? Taunting Slingers? What was wrong with Mace Sultan? What changes this for? Why? On Taunting Slingers? On Taunting. What do they sound like? Let's go. Commence. Right, another DE change there. But we still have the Jaguar Prowler Knights and the Coyote Runners, so those who still retain their old name. That one Fune, though, could try and harass the fishing boats moving in Kite, but I think he just wants to try and not take a fight with canoes and dockfire nearby, putting pressure on that middle trading post. Haitch does see that the Jaguar Power Knights are out and have already been caught. These guys are high HP, same HP as Doppelsodner, and multipliers versus heavy infantry with decent speed as well. So there's potential for them to actually close in and get the snare on the Ashies and let the Slingers deal damage from range and pick off these heavy infantry units. Maybe the Haitch might need to transition to Nagi Yumi at some point. So going to Haitch's point of view, actually does have a stable down. Going into Naginata Riders, it is a stable, not a daimyo. Yep, there's a stable. There's the stable, pardon me. 4 Nagis coming out. So Nagi Ashi is the composition that Haitch is going for. Does lose 1 trading post. No sign of Stagecoach just yet here from the Japanese player. Maybe he's quite happy with the experience points and then sends in shipments like 4 villagers multiple times to gain his eco that way. So in the meantime, Optimus has to deal with a few on the sea, Samurai Siege in the dock, and Nagi's and Ashi's pushing his army. And I don't think Optimus has been trained too many units since. He does have 1 Puma in cube, but he's already lost about 3 or 4 Mace Sultans, a Jag Prowler Knight. Here come the Spearmen from the War Hut, but they're going to get zoned off by the Ashi Garus. Nagis are just ripping through the Slingers. I think it's just a 2-hit kill to the Slingers. They're so low HP. Nagis have a field day versus them. Pike's coming to push away the Naginatas, but the Ashi's going to get some good value on these Spearmen. Double kill there. And he's going to retreat now, seeing that a Ontontin Slinger shipment was sent from Optimus to defend. Another military shipment from Optimus. And Haitch, who just previously sent 4 villagers, will be quite happy to see that. Another batch of Nagis, though. And actually, with these villagers, Coyotes moving forward, anti-cavalry support here is very limited, having to rely on warriors trained from the community plaza. But these Lancer-style cavalry, very tanky in the range resist department, and monsters at taking down light infantry or ranged infantry of the Ontonton Slingers. Yeah, this is a competition win here for Haitch, it seems. Somewhat of a decent trade. It's hard to say which way that fight went, because the War Huts, the town centre, the warriors, which do have strong range attack because they are Minutemen-styled units. Pikemen were enough to push away the Naginatas, and another Nagi going down. It feels that Japan's got the slightly better eco. 41 villagers in total from Optimus, includes 11 fishing boats, 5 canoes fishing, which aren't the strongest, 23 villagers. But comparing this to Haitch, 40 land villagers, as well as 11 shrines, and the 2 TPs providing XP. The score suggests Haitch is in the lead. I feel that Haitch has got the momentum as well, and can quite happily stay in H2, send in unit upgrades, whereas if you look at Optimus's deck, the only upgrade he has is Coyote Combat. That's just not going to cut it versus heavily upgraded H2 Japanese units, and who needs H2 units when you can go to H3? Golden Pavilion being dropped down. Yumi Archer Ashi attack hasn't been sent in the second age, but when we go to the third age, could see Nagi HP or close combat coming at some point. Looks like H is still favouring the Musketeer play, but Golden Pavilion, Disciplines, Ashies, and then dropping a Consulate sometime would be very, very nice to see. 600 export just sitting there. Nagi's going for raid. I don't know, raid 5 Nagis, very expensive raiders, 100 coin a piece, and only need a couple Coyotes to trade effectively well, a couple Pikemen, Town Centre Fire, Building Fire, but there's no anti-cav here, and it's just Slingers. A couple of 1 HP Warriors, no guys dancing for more Warriors, so be easily replenished. Where are the anti-cavalry? There's some Ashes topside as well, but that's a decent pickup there for H. Yeah, it's the that's where they went. The pikemen went down to the south, sieging the trading post and a couple of shrines. But at what cost, you may ask? At what cost? Right, age ups in for H. Villagers decently upgraded. Looks like it's going to be both the cherry upgrades here in Civil Servants. Probably not Imperial Bureaucracy at this point. Send in 7 villagers as card number 1. Looks like H is happy to let this game go on a little bit longer and doesn't need to finish it anytime soon. Meanwhile, Optimus's fishing boats not yet having their gill nets, actually. They do have their greatcoats, though, so that's something to see and behold, but no gill nets. Cossack saying, not bad trade for Optimus. 5 Nagis for 5 Slingers. I think there's a couple more Slingers as well. And yes, if you'd say that both players had the same eco potential, it would be a decent trade. But H is in the third age now. Opti's not really any way going. Wait, since when do you get Noble's Huts in H2? Am I seeing this right? Am I seeing that right? What? There's a big boy Noble Hut here. Anyways, there's a Noble Hut in H2 here for the Aztec player, but I don't think Colonial Jaguar Prowler Knights is what he really needs versus heavily upgraded Ashigaru Musketeers from the Japanese player. Still retaining their Colonial stats, not yet upgrading to Disciplined Ashies, but there's the Disciplined Ashie coming in, and maybe we might see close combat at some point coming in. Not just another 7 villagers being sent again for even greater economical play. This game's been a little bit confusing here, but we do have these a bit of a mass of Jaguar Prowlers coming forward, and they're going into stealth, but not all of them has stealthed, which is, I hope, from H's point of view, that if he sees this, oh, he sees 2. Yeah, he sees 2. Oh my, this is unfortunate. I don't know how. Yeah, there's the others getting spotted by the Japanese monk here, but there's Disciplined Ashi, 30 range. Okay, now has the Japanese consulate training 5 Shinobi no Monos, as well as going to Bushido Principles for more training potential from the barracks. Nagi's going backside, trying to pull away the Pumas and the Prowler Knights, and here's a couple of Jaguar Prowlers moving forward, but they're just going to get picked off one by one. So quite happy there for H to take that. Nagi's going in, trying to bait the reaction, gets the pull, and these Nagis just pull back, and H can just move in with his upgraded Ashigarus, and looks like Optimus has called the GG there. And I don't think Optimus, once he realised he was stuck in the second age, could he ever really get up? No. Yeah, a bit of a confusing game there. Okay, eventually did get himself his fishing upgrades, but a little bit late there. Giving time to Japan. It's just not the strat to go for, it seems. I don't know, it could have potential, but Hazard certainly played very well with raiding Ashes, putting pressure on the sea, taking TP line and taking the land eco while he could. Just a very anti-standard game from both players. Both players going for different strategies, and that's what we see quite often on DE at the moment, is a real shake-up of the meta. Looks like Japan, we see another Japan player going for the Torii Gates age up over the Tushoga Shrine, and I suppose versus a potentially aggressive Aztec player, that is the way to go. Right, let's look at the timeline. Villager population, we get to see Optimus's semi-water boom in the first stage. Aging up with 20 villagers once again. Very similar to in Iro age up in terms of villager population. So probably about 15 vills, 5 boats, somewhere around that line. Sending 5 villagers first card. The Fune shipment from Haitch not getting the desired effect that he wanted, only managing to spawn 1 Fune and not deny the water boom there from Optimus. But behind this though, was able to train a couple villagers. Or send 4 villagers once and send it twice. Lost 4 villagers. I must have missed that raid. Apologies for that one. Nope, these were the fishing boats, weren't they? The fishing 30 down to 27. So that was the boats down on the water from the Age 1 fishing boat upgrade being picked off by the canoes. So no actual land villagers going down. And again, that's just the strength of Japan, having their entire eco in their town, nicely protected by the town centre and their buildings. Couple pushes, picking up a few units here and there, but Optimus's water play not really having that much of a better eco from H at any points in the game, and that's not even including the fact that villagers are upgraded, gathering resources to shrines. All resources should be in favour of H, and yeah, it is quite considerably as well. In the end, 23k to 18k, but the rate of resource income as well is much stronger for H. As well as being in the third age with the tech advantage. Yeah, if Opti could have cleaned up that army there and then, may have been fine, but actually afterwards, it was pretty much game over there for Optimus. Military unit fight. Opti getting some decent trades. This was the Nagi trade I was talking about, giving time for H to age up behind this. But this fight here, where H is pushing in, and those Nagis and Ashley being picked up by the 6 defensive Minutemen, what are they called? Warriors, slingers, the slinger shipment from Opti to stabilise, more pikes being trained, pushing away, town centre fire, war hut fire. Yeah, that was a good trade for Optimus there, actually. And H backing off and aging up to the third age, that could be a time for Optimus to strike, but wasn't the case. H aged up and took the game afterwards. So yep, Hazard there going up to 2-0. Let us go into the next game. What is it with these copy and paste messages? Iron Turtle was saying, "Hey, how can I complain about these tournaments? ESOC TV, put some work on the series, please." Mate, I'm putting all the work that I want to do into ESOC TV, so unless you've got something positive to say, I suggest you keep that little mouth of yours quiet. Right, going to game number 3 of this series between Hazard and Optimus Prime. Alright guys, welcome back. This is game number 3. We are on Deccan at this point. Opti spawning into the south of the map in the colour blue, playing as the Japanese civilization. It's our favourite tournament map. It is Deccan. And H spawning into the north of the map, playing as Sweden. So Sweden versus Japan on Deccan. H won the last game, so he chose his civilization first, opting to play as the Swedish here on Deccan. I'm not going to lie, I wouldn't think Swedish would be my first pick on a map like Deccan. Maybe I'm missing something, but last series when H was playing versus, what's the other opponent in his series? I think it was Kevin. Haitch went for the British civilization, which is a very strong pick on a map like Tekan. So maybe Hazza has worked something out that I haven't quite worked out. Bound to get the snare off on one of the explorers, but manages to steal back a yak. Oh no, the water buffalo deleted by Optimus before Haitch could pick it up. And this is a 2 explorer versus 1 advantage that Opti has, as well as the orchard ritual. What he's not using to scout. That's a bit of a possibly an improvement Opti could have used on a map like this. What on earth is going on in the chat? Mods, can you just get rid of these copy and paste chats? They're just so distracting. I'm trying to have a little look to see if anything useful has been said, but all I see is these shitty copy and pastes. Anyway, Divine Strike, treasure contention here for 80 wood, and looks like Optimus managed to pick up 80 wood. So that's an extra shrine. He's going to throw it right down on top of a hunt. So really nice treasure contention there from Optimus. Meanwhile, back at base, he's dropping down into Sugar Shrine on top of a hunt, as well as a couple of water buffalo. Market as well. We are in Tekan, so resources are certainly at a premium. We have consulate market. These villagers have upgraded already with a 5% upgrade, it looks like. So the tier 1 cherry gathering upgrade. Meanwhile, we have Haitch dropping down 5 torps. Is he aging up right just yet? Not quite yet, but has resources for 5 torps. Currently has 4 down. And looking at some of these gather rates, 0.2 wood there, 0.15 wood, but it's also on the coin mines. This is an amazing torp. It's a really nice torp. And these torps on the coin mine market as well. And looks like hunting dogs has been researched for Haitch here, but still not aging up yet. 225, slightly slower of an age up here for the Swedish player. Haitch kiting his way onto a line. Looks like he kited this line to half HP, then crack shot in the full HP line. So managed to pick up his treasure without losing too much HP. But unfortunately for him, though, he's picked up 100 food after he's already clicked up. So that potential high impact of a treasure for the Swedish player with their slower age 1 age up time, slightly missed there from Haitch. But that's just the luck of the draw. That's not a statement of play. That's just the finding the treasure you really need on the opposite side of the map, which you don't even know may or may not even be there. Meanwhile, though, shrines already coming down from Optimus on the left-hand side of the map. He does have both of his explorers on the left-hand side. Blueberry Boy donating $1 there. This game is brought to you by Blueberry Boys. Can get to see those blueberries. I'm sure you'll get to see if those blueberries appear in chat. Pardon me. What I was about to say, though, is I would like to see Optimus poof one of his explorers back and start shrining the eastern side of the map. Could avoid the central plateau if he chooses, but having both explorers on one side of the map is not what you traditionally see with Japan players. In-base racks being sent from Optimus Prime. Looks like his first shipment there was 4 villagers. Or they'll just going through the town centre. Yeah, just going through the town centre. 600 wood first card here for Optimus. But will likely be sending 4 villagers twice afterwards. Now, this is a matchup I think Sweden do really struggle in. So I can understand the Japanese counter pick here from Optimus. In-base racks, though, seems to be very conservative, but those Ashigaros, they do cross the map very fast with their 4.5 movement speed. Outpost wagon from Haitch from the Age Up moving forward. So Age Up here with the Governor, 200 coin outpost wagon. Slightly defensive racks, but not in base, though. Trying to play for a bit of map control and control this forward hunt. Let's look at the Swedish deck. First card was the 700 wood. He does have Dominions in his deck, but has chosen not to send this card this game, it looks like. May send it afterwards, but I do like sending this as card number 1. No Pike shipment versus Japan. Pikes could be very useful versus the shrines, but does have bows and leather cannons to do with the Ashigaru mass. Triple upgrades though, preferring the 3 hussars over the pikemen as well. Torp being placed down on the silver mine. No Engelberg ironworks as well for Hazza. Does have a shipment ready to go, and actually sending blueberries at the moment. Looks like he's going to send it on 11 torp population. Could squeeze in a couple more torps. Yep, the wood is being gathered up at the moment by the villagers. So probably about 3 torps there. Another torp at this point. But this is the time where Optimus is starting to push those Ashigarus forward. But Haitch managed to get the first shot off. And actually is... Optimus is microing other units and could have picked off that unit earlier, but managed to get an extra 3 shots from that one unit, which really should have been put underground for a long time. But here comes Axel the Tame Tiger, the Explorer as well, and this early initial trade going very well for Haitch at this point. And Opti has to back out at the point that Haitch is sending blueberries. This must be the steepest access point onto the plateau I've ever seen. Looks like this single tower here is crossable, but surrounded by 2 cliffs. So it's quite funny to watch these units actually walk up a slope that steep. Export being sent here from Optimus, cancelling his relations with the Portuguese. Doesn't need the Portuguese anymore. He's already built most of his shrines. So the Portuguese are given cheaper shrine costs and general building costs as well. Likely to go into the Japanese consulates to boost his units' attacking stats. Double racks at home, going for double Ashi spam. But is Optimus likely to age up to 3rd age at some point? I think he should be staying age 2 and going Ashi Nagi. Moving his Ashis around trying to find Torp villagers, but there's no villagers here to be seen. They're all back. No Torp HP as well. A couple clubmen from a Japanese consulate could be very strong here. As well as just massing pure Ashis and just doing bots Japan stuff. We'll have to see how this progresses. Yeah, looks like Japan's already sent 1 batch of 4 villagers as his 3rd card. Expecting the 4th card to also be 4 villagers. But it's got no coin income at the moment. Is this a bit of a misclick here from Optimus? He needs a bit of coin to train more units. His shrines are currently gathering wood, not coin. He's got all villagers at home, and he's not sending... Okay, now he's got the shrines on as a coin. But is all these shrine income, 15 shrines, enough to provide a steady income of coins to train all the Ashigarus he needs? And actually, each shrine with the hunt on it is basically an unupgraded coin villager, so 15 shrines is about 15 villagers on coin, and he does get a full batch of Ashis there. Well, only the 6 Ashis, to be more precise, but certainly more than 5, so that's quite nice to see. Ashi attack coming in, and Haitch has gone to the Fortress Age. I missed that. Completely missed Haitch aging up, but that's just the power of the blueberries coming in behind this. Aging up, still has Carolians in queue. Might want to cancel a batch and go for Vet Carolian as a priority. You can just sense that Optimus is moving across the map now, wanting to take this early engagement before the technology advantage that Haitch has rolls in. So 2 Falconets, first card here. Carolian's now been upgraded, so that batch was cancelled. But which barracks is being upgraded? It's the more defensive one. Can Opti sense this? Yeah, he probably doesn't have enough siege to take it down, but he actually does. I think this is a smart play from Opti, sensing which barracks is going to be the one which is researching it. But Carolian's poking on the side of the Ashigaru mass, making good use of numbers advantage on a smaller surface area. Minutemen being called. Is he going to get Falconets out from this outpost as well and link up with the 5 Carolians down to the south? No, he's going for defensive Falconets. I think that's a smart choice because he would have probably lost it to hand combats Ashigaru Musketeers, but unpacking, getting double kills on both of those Falconets. And is that enough for Optimus to instantly tap out? I think it is. Shinobi's crossing the map, but Swedes age 3. Falconets uncontested. Optimus losing the mass. And Blueberries chugging along. Swedes 2 OP, they say. So yeah, it looks like it's a 3-0 victory there for Haitch. A slightly anticlimactic end there, I have to say. I was hoping for a little bit more, but I think Optimus was in a tough position there, and Haitch had very safely got himself to the Fortress Age. First card was the Falconets, could go into Jaegers, but probably would be sending a card like Snaplock for his Carolians, because it sensed to be a very heavy infantry focus game, and wouldn't be able to get the Queen required to go for Jaeger's next card. Let's have a look at that eco actually in that game to see how those two players come across, because you would assume that Japan has the greater eco, because that's what Japan does, but it's close. It is super close, and actually I think the eco is slightly in favour of Optimus in terms of resources coming in per minute at that time. But if you're down an age, you need to find an extra 2,200 resources to age up at that point. And with H also having a great eco behind this, I don't think Opti really was able to find that window behind it. Tried to push in on the age up, just didn't quite work out. And yeah, just strong ecos from both players, but managing to squeeze the age up in and going for the tech advantage instead of the numbers advantage proved to be the winning decision there from H. Looking at the villagers won't tell you much, because both Sears are utilising eco from the houses to a great advantage. Yeah, Optimus sending the 4 vills once, and obviously training villagers throughout the age up's very strong there. Military population at the end. And the fight was only just starting really from Optimus, but once he saw the Falconets coming in and realising he's already lost about 10 ashes, he's trained a few more at home, so this graph doesn't look as much of a decrease as you would have expected from what we'd seen in the game. I think H had the stronger military, the numbers advantage, the reinforcements advantage from having a defender's advantage as well, and Opti was at risk of losing many more units and not being able to follow up the age. Possible early resign, but I think the series is over at that point, and H taking that series 3-0.